Our robot has 2 push buttons and a switch. The first push button is to determine the color that we want to put the cubes at. If you press the push button once, then the color is determined as red, twice green, and once you press the button 3 times, the color is determined as blue. Another push button is to interrupt the robot. Once you press that button, the motors stop working. And the switch button is to start the motion of the robot in general. For the motion of the robot, we have used gyro sensor and infrared sensor. There are 4 infrared sensors that are in front of the robot, each 4 trying to follow a straight line. It also counts number of horizontal black lines. According to the counters, it either turns left, turns right, or turns 180 degrees towards left. The gyro sensor is used for rotating the robot in a precise manner, so it is only used when the robot is trying to turn. Determining the color and also throwing the cubes, we are using an RGB sensor, ultrasonic sensor, and a servo motor. So once the counter is incremented for the horizontal lines, the robot stops and then RGB sensors are activated. It starts collecting 10 data, and if these 10 color data all show a single color, it then looks at whether the push buttons counter is the same as that color code. Servo motor only works with RGB sensor. Without it, it doesn't work. Also, in order to control our RGB sensor more precisely, we have used an ultrasonic sensor. Once the robot stops, distance data from the walls will be very close to one another. So it collects 13 data. If the 13 data is very close to one another, then it also signals the RGB sensor that it can work. So we are controlling RGB sensor by both infrared sensor and also ultrasonic sensor.
In order to control our DC motors, we have 2 DC motors. We used a motor driver. This model is L298N. It has 2 ports which provides up to 5 volts and 1 amperes to power the DC motors. Additionally, it has a 5 volts output. Using this output, we also powered our servo motors. It has 6 pins. 2 enable and 4 input pins. 2 input pins is used to determine the direction of the motor, each motor, and the enable pins are used to determine the speed. So we used 6 pins in order to control the speed of our DC motors and the direction of their rotation. In order to power our motor driver, we used a lithium-ion battery which is 7.4 volts and 2400 milliamperes, and it was enough for us to run our motors for over 15 minutes continuously.
We have 2 Arduino boards. One is for the motion of the robot and the other one is for the RGB sensor and the servo motor. The motion Arduino board uses and signals the infrared sensors and also the gyro sensor, whereas the second Arduino board determines the push buttons for the color indication, the RGB sensor and servo motor, and also the ultrasonic sensor. So in total we have different push buttons, different sensors, and 2 different Arduino boards that signal one another in order to provide both the motion and the color detection of the robot.